try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chest, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep, move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.
What is going on, my fellow Americans? Welcome to another installment of My Fellow Americans. I'm your host, Mike Jones. How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? I know it's been a few days. I was a little sick, under the weather. I know, no excuse. But man, there's been a lot going on. There's a lot of, things are still a little sickening with the Democrats and the far left radicals and just what their views are. It's kind of disgraceful. It's sickening. But man, let me tell you, the FBI, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, hey, they ain't playing no more. They are not playing no more. They're coming after these judges. And boy, I cannot be happier. We have so far had 2 judges, one in Milwaukee, one in New Mexico. Let's start with the first one. A lot of other stuff going on too, but we'll start right here with these judges, and they're starting to get to the problem. There's the Kash and the FBI and Attorney General Bondi. They are starting to do what they need to do. From a young age, we are led to believe that judges only rule on law without the bias. But if there's anything that we have seen recently is proof that this is not the case. It's a scary thought when you wonder if you go into a courtroom if you're going to get treated fairly, if somebody else is going to get special treatment, if you're pretty much going to get put in jail or you're going to either get released. Well, apparently these radical rogue judges are standing up for the illegal criminal immigrants. And I don't know, man. The first one, this is Hannah Duggan out of Milwaukee. They have proof that she obstructed ICE. But it gets so sickening because first off, this guy was in jail, or he was in court. Mr. Eduardo Flores Ruiz is in court. He was deported in 2013. Then he came back illegally, which, if you're deported once, if you come back again illegally, it's an automatic felony. So why was Mr. Ruiz in court? Well, I mean, the allegations go, he beat a man, hitting him at least 30 times. He elbowed a woman in the face. He hit another woman. So there's 2 assaults on a female for 2 different females. And he hit a gentleman 30 times. Now, this isn't illegal. Shouldn't be in our country. Shouldn't be able to do this. But apparently this stuff is just acceptable now. These judges want you to believe that this is acceptable. Now that's Mr. Ruiz here on the left. That's the judge, obviously Hannah Dugan on the right. Look at him. This man beat a legal immigrant for the second time in court for hitting a male 30 plus times and hitting 2 females. Now, I don't know about you, but this is just unacceptable. This is unacceptable. So apparently what happened is Mr. Ruiz was in court that day, and apparently Judge Dugan had heard that ICE was out there to take him into custody, take Mr. Flores into custody. And she went out in the hall, yelled at him, and told them to go speak to the Chief Justice, whoever that was, and comes back into the courtroom. Mind you, this is mid pre-trial, and comes in, adjourns the case, takes him into her chambers, him and his lawyer, and tells him and sneaks him out a side door, tells him to go. Now, okay, wow, I wish that, I could go somewhere, beat some dude, hit him 30 times, then hit two other women, go into court, and then have the judge just sneak me out the side door. I've never heard this. I've never seen anything like this, but yes, she's in her jumpsuit. She should be crying. It's sickening. But the thing is, lady, you're obstructing federal officials. You're obstructing federal agents. Like, they are coming there. This dude is a criminal. He was sent out. He came back into our country, which is a felony now. And now he's assaulting American citizens. And this judge finds it okay to literally sit there and let this gentleman try to escape, basically giving him a free walk out the door. Luckily, ICE caught up to the guy. They caught the guy. Like I said, she found out ICE was in the hall. She screams at him, sends him to talk to the Chief Justice, and that was it. But the worst part is the victims of his attack witnessed this in the courtroom. They were there as witnesses, and they witnessed this fiasco. Now, what does that tell these citizens about the court system? It is hard enough for these people to come forward and be witnesses, and they get scared. They're worried something's going to happen to them. So a lot of these people don't come forward with this kind of stuff. They take it and they move on. But you got the actual witnesses and the actual victims. Not Mr. Ruiz is not a victim. He's a criminal, illegal alien. And you got these victims sitting there for this pre-trial hearing, and they see Miss Dugan come in, adjourn the case, sneak Mr. Ruiz and his attorney, his representation, into her chambers, out through a side exit. That's not justice, people. That is not justice at all. It is... we have judges flagrantly breaking the law, obstructing federal agents, harboring a felon, illegal aliens who's in court for beating the shit out of a man and hitting 2 women. You want to know the kicker? The victims are present. This is just unacceptable. Judges are supposed to protect citizens and rule based on law. This woman chose an illegal over our citizens, which is a disgusting act in itself. This is what the radical judges are doing to our citizens. And why? Because obviously, I don't know why. I really don't. Because I don't see how anybody with any kind of morals or anybody that actually gives a damn would sit there and think that this is acceptable. If I always feel like, growing up, you think judges, they're in charge. If somebody's in trouble, they go before them, and then they are judged. And then depending on the situation, if you have a trial or not, you'll have. But the basic thing is the judge is there to oversee the case and make rulings. And because ICE was there to collect this man, because he's a fugitive, and a judge, a person in charge, obstructs justice and sneaks this criminal out in front of the victim, and it's sick. I just, what are these judges doing? Because you hate Trump? Because you're trying to do everything in your power to obstruct Trump from doing what the people asked him to do, doing what the people wanted him to do? He was voted in because these are the things people wanted. But these radical left lunatics sit there and they try to make it, oh, they need due rights. They need due rights. Listen, they didn't have any. You're telling me Joe Biden can let in 20 million illegals? 20 million. There was no process. They just brought them in. But now Mr. Trump and his cabinet have to sit there, and you're telling me they have to go through a trial that could be lengthy, or they have a court appearance for each of the 2 million. So they could walk across the border or be flown in by Mr. Biden. But in order to get them out, we have to go through a whole process that could take years, like years, probably 20, 30 years after that. That's a lot of people to get through the courts. And I don't think that's fair. I think worst case scenario, the ones that were allowed to come across freely by the Biden administration, it shouldn't be a question. It should be, well, Mr. Biden opened our border illegally and allowed these illegals to come in. They weren't vetted. They weren't checked. But now we got to give them due rights and vet them and set them out. It doesn't make sense. Just like these crazy ass Democratic senators want to go down to El Salvador and visit with Albrego Garcia. Like, come on, the dude's a damn criminal. There's new video that was released with him, body cam video of him driving with 8 other illegals in the car, going and the cops pull him over and the FBI tells them to let him go. Now, I mean, that's kind of crazy. You're driving. First off, Mr. Abrego didn't even have a license. There was the immigrants in there didn't have any luggage or anything. I mean, even the cop in the video said they probably got toothbrushes and stuff in their pocket, and that's it. So I don't know about you, but that's trafficking. Now you take those adults that he had driving across country with him, then you turn that into kids. That's trafficking. You're trafficking people. It's sick. I don't understand what's going on. Yeah, I've been racking my brain for the last week or so, and I wanted to talk about this a few days ago, and like I said, I got sick, but I just don't, like, I understand what they're doing. Like, I'm not stupid like that, but I don't understand how people find this acceptable. I don't understand how people go out here and they protest and do it up like that and destroy Teslas and do stuff like that for listening to Democrats, but these judges are blatantly obstructing justice, putting illegals in front of our citizens in our justice system, and nobody wants to go out there and protest this. Nobody wants to say a thing about this. Nobody wants to go out there and make a big deal about this. I don't get it. These are the things people should be pissed off about. People are worried. The Democrats, all they're trying to do is scare you. They're trying to scare you, saying, oh, we're going into a recession. The tariffs are going to destroy our country, this, that, and the other. And it's not even true. You're scaring people before anything's even happened. Why don't you let the man do his job, Mr. Trump? Let him get his agendas in order. Let him do what he needs to do. And then y'all can sit back, regroup, and come back when you have better ideas. Because all the Democrats and these lunatics on the left, all they're doing is recycling the same nonsense, the same old nonsense. And all they do, that's all they can do. That one, they try to stoke fear in the Americans. They try to make them feel like, oh, it's the end. This is going to be the end. It's all tax cuts. They're going to take your disability. They're going to take your Medicaid. They're going to take your Medicare. And it's not true. Mr. Trump has even been on video saying, we are not taking your Medicare. We are not taking your Medicaid. We are not taking your Social Security. Anybody who needs help. And he said that hundreds of times. But the thing is these new polls came out and they showed that on these legacy networks, media networks, 92 or 93% of everything they air about Donald Trump is negative. 92% negative. When he goes to do speeches, they cut away from him. They won't sit there and talk about it. He'll go up to have a speech, and then as soon as he comes up, they cut away, and then they start talking about the whole thing. And you're not letting the people listen. You're withholding information. That's not what the media is there to do. The media, you are there to put the news out, to show the people what is happening, not sit there and act like our country is coming to an end. It's going to be, it's Hitler all over again. It's Nazi Germany. Donald Trump's a Nazi, fascist, blah, blah, blah. All they want, that's all the Democrats and the left-wing crazies can do, is sit there and scare the people, because that's all they have. They don't have any answers for anything. They don't have any other, they should be working with the Republicans, coming together and, working some kind of deal. Okay, we don't agree with this, but we're willing to do this if you concede a little of that. And they're not doing none of that. All it is straight fighting, name calling. They think they're cool when they swear. They just sound like idiots. CNN, you see it on CNN all the time. Like the stuff that they say is so false that you wouldn't believe it. But if you're a person that doesn't do your research and doesn't look into this stuff, I mean, it's very easy to believe that. It's really easy to believe what they say. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. You have to watch all the news out. There's good news. There's good places to get your news on YouTube. There's definitely good YouTube streamers out here that have good information. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch some Fox News a little bit. I watch a little bit of everything. But the one thing that I've noticed is the only people that talk about Donald Trump in a positive light is Fox News. And that's not a coincidence, because if they do something he doesn't like, they still say that. Now you go to the other side, and all they want to do in the legacy media is sit there and put him down, call him names. He's a criminal. He's a felon. Listen, he's only a felon because Letitia James ran on prosecuting Donald Trump. That's what I'm going to prosecute him. I'm going to do as much as I can. And that's dirty. It's dirty, because now what's happening? Letitia James is crookeder than anybody you've ever met. She's lying about her occupancy on her property. She's lying about where she lives. Supposedly she lives in, Virginia or some shit. She don't live in Virginia or whatever it was. She can't. She's a New York attorney general. You can't live in a different state and be in office in another. It's just, you're not allowed to do that. But she said Donald Trump, she's had a couple interviews and just talking about Donald Trump is a liar and a scam artist and blah, blah, blah. But you're the pot calling the kettle black. Like, Big Tish, you're stupid. It doesn't make any sense. How ignorant can you be? Unless my thought process on the Letitia James thing is the only reason she would go after Trump is because she never thought that he would be. She never thought he'd be in charge again. She never thought that anybody would come looking into her. But when you come after people like she did Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump wins over the American people because the American people want what he ran on, and he comes into office, she should have known she was screwed. And honestly, she probably didn't even really think about anything that she did illegal because she never thought it would come back to her. Well, guess what? This administration is not playing. They're doing everything. They're moving so fast, it's ridiculous. They're doing tariffs. They're doing immigration. They're doing border. They're doing everything. Donald Trump's bringing production back to the United States. He's making us powerful. They're building our military. He is doing the best he can to set the United States up for positivity and a bright future. And all these leftist Democrats want to do is sit there and try to destroy it, sabotage, and take it down. Because the fact of the matter is once Doge gets into the nitty gritty and keeps working, even if they're not going to be directly linked to this and get in trouble, they also know that what Donald Trump Doge is doing is it's going to make it a lot harder for them to go back to that stuff, to where they have these NGOs set up and they give their family members money through these NGOs. I believe I've seen a report that Obama's daughter or whatever was given $2 million out of an NGO. And it's crazy that they can just take our taxpayer dollars to make themselves rich. These goddamn elites on the left want to sit here and take from all the hardworking citizens while they sit on their fat elite ass and make people do what they want to do. I don't know about you, but they keep saying, oh, he's cutting your Medicaid and Medicare, and you know where the tax cuts are coming from. He wants to tax the poor and give to his billionaire friend. It's not even the truth. It's a fact. Trump's got the big, beautiful bill coming up, and if that doesn't pass, most of us Americans are going to see a 65% increase in our taxes. I don't know about you, but taxes are already out the fucking roof. So they try to scare you and they try to make you think that one thing is one thing, but he's not going to cut Medicaid. He's not going to cut Medicare. The people won't allow that. If you start cutting people's Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security, there will be riots. People are not going to be calm about that because people are going to get desperate because they're not going to be able to survive. And so all they're doing is trying to scare you. Donald Trump has said hundreds of times. You can find they have videos out there of Donald Trump and all the different times he said, we are not touching Medicaid. We're not touching Medicare. Now, when they say they're touching Medicaid and Medicare, they're not touching the legit portion of it. They're touching the fakers, the 115 plus year old people that are getting checks and people committing fraud and abuse. And that's what he's cutting. That's how he makes the system stronger. You get rid of all the nonsense and all that extra money is there. All that extra money will be there for these programs, and these programs won't have to worry about struggling. And like you go out in California and they owe billions. They need billions of dollars because they think they need to give support and help to these illegals that come across. You're not even a citizen. You're not even a citizen coming here and you think that they're entitled to people that live here and pay taxes? You want to use our tax-paying dollars to support these people? I just don't get it. And then we got other judges, Mr. Cano from New Mexico, and this man's literally housing illegals, Tren de Aragua members, in his guest house. Dude is in photos with the family. I just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. How this is acceptable, I will never know. But this is him down here. Like this is the gang member, Tren de Aragua member, living with the judge on the left. Look at, they're like best friends. A judge. And apparently he resigned or whatever before all this, before him and his wife got arrested. But then him and his wife were arrested for this, harboring illegal aliens, and wife's trying to destroy phones. This guy is literally
Re duro.
Oh, sí, está pesado. Está pesado.
his gun. Look at the gun.
What is it? Yeah, it's heavy. Put it on.
A ver, claro, patrón, ¿cómo es que sí? Mira ahí.
That got more attachments than some females' private toys. You know what I'm saying? Like that thing got everything. I don't know about you, but that don't make me feel safe. Not one bit. Not even a little bit. And man, I'm at a loss for words. It gets really, really tough to sit here and think that this is good, that this is right. Like, I don't know in what part of anybody's right mind would think this is right. He's harboring a gang member, which is now a terrorist, Tren de Aragua. There's photos of this dude. Like they're best friends. Look, they're best friends. They act like, and the judge, he's supposed to be upholding the law as he's breaking the law. No morals. Absolutely no morals. This guy, I don't know. Look at this. He's got these automatic weapons at the fire and shooting range. Like, he's a gang member. He's a terrorist. You're a judge. Like, what the hell is going on in our country? The only thing I can think of is, maybe the judge is a little cuck. Maybe he likes to watch the Gardner boy, little watch him and his wife. I don't know. That's just speculation. Who knows? You just don't know. You don't know what's actually going on. But the fact of the matter is, this guy is a criminal, a terrorist, and he's living with this family like they're best friends. Dude's got, reports say the dude had mad phones, so he's got a bunch of phones. What do you need a bunch of cell phones for? Well, if you have a bunch of phones, you're a criminal. Generally, you don't just have multiple cell phones for no reason. The wife tried to hide one of the cell phones. You're not trying to hide cell phones unless you're breaking the law. So this is what our judicial system has come to. This is what is going on with these far left radical rogue judges. And it's not right. It's not fair. It's sick. That's it. That's all. I don't know. Let's see what I'm gonna show you what
we're seeing is that these judges are showing
Dinesh D'Souza. He had a good thing right here. Let's watch this video.
their hand. They're showing that their real sympathies are with some of these absolutely horrific gang members, Tren de Aragua, MS-13, hardened criminals. And they are very concerned about the due process rights of these people and also about their treatment in prison.
Now, what about the treatment of all the victims of these illegal immigrant criminals? They're R-wording people. They're unaliving people. They're trafficking people. They deal drugs. Like, this has got to stop. What rights do you think illegal immigrant? I don't know. Tell me in the chat. Reach out. What is your opinion? Do you really believe these illegal criminal aliens? Now, I'm not talking about illegals that have been here, have a clean background, haven't done nothing to put any citizens in jeopardy or do anything about breaking the law. You know, those illegals, you know, I can like overlook. You know, it's you know, okay, give them some due process and make a decision there. But all the borders are Mr. Holman and Donald Trump are trying to do right now is get the worst of the worst out, and everything is standing in his way. Everybody's trying to stand in his way. They don't want to see Donald Trump succeed, because if he succeeds, they're fudged. They're literally fudged. They're not going to be able to steal money anymore. They're not going to be able to do whatever they want anymore. These people are corrupt, and they need to be Pam Bondi and Cash Patel and the FBI and the Department of Justice. They really need to crack down on this. You cannot allow judges to break the law. They're there to uphold the law, not break the law. And when they do it so flagrantly in front of people, in front of victims themselves, it's disgusting. And this is coming from Democrats and the far left. These are the people that didn't even stand up for the families that have been hurt by illegals. This for the people that didn't stand up for a kid with brain cancer. Like, it's all the same stuff. How do you not, with any morals, stand up for any of those things? How do you, with any morals, think this is okay?
Now, here we see an article in PBS talking about the prison in El Salvador. The prison doesn't offer workshops or educational programs to prepare people to return to society after their sentences. I'm sure this is true. In fact, I think at one point I heard Bukele saying, we don't plan to return these people anywhere. They're here to be incarcerated. These are essentially habitual, lifelong criminals, bad guys, and it's not good for society to see them back on the street. But what I'm highlighting here is the tender solicitousness for the conditions in prison. Now, notice that when January 6th prisoners were thrown into conditions, they were in the DC gulag. You have all these Haitian and Jamaican guards. The guards are black. Some of the prisoners are white. The black guards are taunting them, bullying them, denying them food, throwing them into solitary confinement. You didn't see any judicial concerns. You didn't see very many media concerns. And
Zero. This is why President Trump pardoned these people. But it's okay for the left and these Democrats to do this and do whatever they want. But when it's on the other foot, it's not okay. Unless the Democrats or these far left radicals approve of it or want that, it's not okay. They can do whatever they want. But when anybody else tries to do something, especially Republicans, especially Donald Trump, it's not acceptable. And I don't know about you, but that's BS. It's the biggest load of BS out there. But now they want to act all concerned for these illegals, immigrants, and they sent kids out. No, there was 3 children, 4, 2, 4, and 7 or something like that. The mother was going to be deported. They gave her the option. You know, take your kid or you can stay here. The kid's an American citizen, but you're not. You're the mother. You want them to go with you, they go with you. And I think that's great. They have a choice. And you just like, people are trying to act like these people don't have any rights. Well, one, you shouldn't be here. You're not supposed to be here. At least not illegally. You want to come in the right way. Do it legally. Do it. Go through the process. Make sure you do what you need to do. If you want to do process, you have to earn it. You don't get to just sneak across the border, have Biden fly you across the border, and all of a sudden, boom, you get the same rights as everybody in this country that has been here. And then you make a mockery of things like African Americans. They fought for their freedoms. They fought for everything that they have now. They fought to get out of slavery. They fought to not have to use their own water fountains and ride on certain spots on the bus. Like, they fought for all that for years. And now you illegal immigrants can come across the border for 30 seconds and you're taken care of better than everybody here. Come on now. I don't know about y'all, but it doesn't seem right. It ain't right. You shouldn't just be able to come here. You want to come here legally. And you know why they can't? Because most of them are criminals. Most of them are rapists. Most of them are murderers. And we obviously wouldn't let them come in if we vetted them, if they were vetted, if they came in the right way. So they just come across. They do what they want. They hurt our citizens. They steal our jobs because they'll do it for half price. The buck stops at when you start hurting American citizens, and that's all they're doing. They create chaos and they're hurting our people. And I don't agree with it.
You certainly didn't see Democrats saying we need to examine these facilities. We need to make sure that there are, to quote the PBS article, workshops and educational programs being offered to John. No, they didn't care. And so the conclusion to be drawn, and there's no other conclusion to be drawn, is that that the left cares more about Trendy Aragua than it does, for example, about Republicans. I don't see another way to interpret this disjunction, this contradiction, this dual set of facts. Here's a leftist on the Bulwark, which is the Never Trump site, and he's railing about a guy named Andres, quote, a gay Venezuelan man who was sent to an El Salvador prison camp, quote, with no due process. Now, first of all, I don't think that we need to take the facts as supplied by the left at face value. Most of the time, they will tell you one thing and suppress another thing. So let's just say, for example, this guy's a gay Venezuelan man, but guess what else he did? We're not going to tell you any of that. We're just going to tell you he's a gay man. So we're going to give you the idea that the only reason he's being deported is because he's gay. No, he's not being deported for being gay.
And I'm glad he brings this up, because what about what these judges are doing? It doesn't just stop here. We got the trannies, we got the transvestites, transsexuals, whatever you want to call them, the dudes that want to be chicks. Dude, you're a guy. I'm sorry. The guy, one of the guys was working for Tim Waltz. He did $21,000 of damage to Teslas. You know what he got? Not a damn thing. Got slapped on the wrist and released. What? Must be a blue state. Right? Another one I just read. Another one was just released. Must have been a blue state. So what does it tell me? It's telling me if I want to be a terrorist, all I got to do is move to a blue county, a blue state. If I go to a blue state, they're not going to do nothing. They're just going to let me out, right? Or, oh, sorry, I'm an American citizen, so that wouldn't apply to me. I'd still get the book. But if I was an illegal immigrant, criminal, hey bud, we got you. We're gonna promote this. We're gonna push this, how you acted, and you're rewarding them for bad behavior. You don't even do that when you get a puppy and you're training your puppies. You don't reward puppies for bad behavior. You're rewarding illegal immigrants that have zero right to be here, zero right to due process at all, in my opinion, especially the criminals. And they're above us.
We should not go along with this. And here is the Bulwark guy. It's evil, and anyone involved with it is evil. Blah 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 blah. So again, this is the pattern I'm describing here. This guy is exercised about the gay Venezuelan who has been erroneous. And again, these are people who didn't care when Laken Riley was killed. A big deal.
Yep.
All these mothers are grieving because their daughters were raped and murdered by illegals. Big deal. That's what happens. You know what? We want to bring in all these people. They're going to be some gang members. They're going to be some, MS-13. What do you expect, Dinesh? So the left is quite willing, when it makes its own omelets, to break a whole bunch of eggs.
Yep.
And yet suddenly they are now become the moral referees of our society, telling us how we need to feel. Look, in the old days, we'd get all worked up about all this and try to explain ourselves and justify our compassion. We really don't need to do any of that. I think our attitude should be simply a little more I would call it anthropological. Just kind of note the peculiarity of the behavior of the bulwark and the people of the bulwark, and then just kind of snicker at them. Don't We don't get all worked up. We don't demand to know more information about the Venezuelan guy. There's a process underway. These people have been designated terrorists, and guess what?
Exactly.
Whenever government steps in, makes rules, makes designations, you're going to have people treated as members of a collective. And so it's kind of like saying, when they decided, let's round up the January 6th defendants, they didn't make fine discrimination. So here's a grandma. She was only in there for 10 minutes. So we're not going to charge her. No, they charged her too.
Yep.
And so that's the way that these generalities work. And the only reason the left is shrieking is it's now happening to them.
Yep.
Tariff wars, recession fears, stubborn inflation. In this confusing and turbulent environment, gold, not too surprisingly, has been routinely hitting all-time highs. Debbie and I own gold.
I mean, Denise couldn't have said it better. It's sick. We can't just sit here and accept this. It's unacceptable in any way, shape, or form. It's hard for me to sit here and get on here and talk about this because honestly, it's sick. I mean, if we're being frank, it's sick. This shouldn't be a thing. This shouldn't be happening. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? It's sick. We got to stand up. We got to this can't be accepted. This can't be okay. Now this, I'm done talking about that. In other news, apparently China is willing to start working with us on tariffs, which Donald Trump said would happen. He said you got to give it time. You got to put them. They're going to come to they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice but to come to the table. So let's check out this about that. So there, I mean, there you have it. It's good news. Um, he's Donald Trump is doing everything he's supposed to do. I mean, that's what it comes down to. He's doing everything he said he was going to do, and the far left, these crazy ass radical Democrats and elitists on the left, they are trying to scare all of us. They're trying to keep all of us so scared for, oh, it's the end, it's the end. And people don't do their research, and what happens when you don't do your research is you can believe whoever the hell kicks out what's going on. And the legacy media, they, like I said, 92 or 93% of what they say about Trump is false and negative. It's never a good thing. They don't tell the whole story. They pick parts that they want to play, and you just don't ever get the full story. So, do your due diligence. Check out everything. Make sure you know what's actually going on, because if you figure it out, if you actually take the time to find the truth, if you try to find the truth and you realize this is all crazy, come on now. We can't let these Democrats and far left elitists take our country over, because there won't be a country if we allow that. Listen, my fellow Americans, we have a long way to go, but hopefully the corruption in the judicial system can be weeded out. Right now, it feels like you have to be lucky to get a fair judge. We shouldn't have to worry a judge is using race or political views to rule on cases. It's a scary thing right now. With people accepting anti-Semitism in our colleges and teaching gay sex to our children in school, we need to get down to what's most important at the moment, which is American safety and American values. If you're supporting criminal illegals, I pray for your soul, because too many Americans have been in the wrong side of the judge's priorities. The victims aren't the victims. The victims aren't even talked about when it comes to legacy media or the far left. We need to change this. This needs to stop. We the people have to not allow our country to go into shit. We can't allow these Democrats and the far left radicals to just do whatever we want. And it starts with judges. It starts with taking all their weapons away. We got to take the left's weapons away, and in all honesty, it's not even really about that. We shouldn't have judges in power that don't go by the law themselves. It's just not right. They can't be harboring fugitives and illegals on their property, in their home, having Christmas with them. We can't have a judge taking an illegal criminal who's in court for domestic violence and to be scooted out the door in front of the victims. They don't get no justice. Where's the justice in that? It has to stop. It has to stop. Please remember, smash that like button. I'm going to try to put out another video here in a couple days. But please smash that like button. Try to watch this to the end. We're going to get better. We're going to get better. And we just really need to, as a country, need to come together in a positive light and not accept evil, not accept the bad stuff, not accept no law. In the words of Big Tish, no one is above the law. Except for Big Tish, evidently, because that's what she seems to think, because she's an idiot. Anyways, remember, smash that like button, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. I'm trying to clean it up a little bit, try not to curse as much. It gets tough. It's tough to sit here and talk about this stuff and not be upset. I worry about my family's safety. I worry that judges are taking illegals' safety and their supposed rights above the rights of us who live here and are legally here and do everything by the book and pay our taxes. My fellow Americans, we are important. We are important. Not the far left elite agendas. Make our courts trustworthy again. We're the important ones, not these elites. These elites don't need no more money. We need to stand up, not be accepting of these radical rogue judges, not accepting of our own citizens being hurt and there being no consequences. So hang in there, be safe, and God bless America. Till next time, I love y'all. Stay safe. Peace.